Today, Peter is having a hard time juggling between trying to grow closer with his family and trying to advance further in his job. He is desperately failing at both. But that might all be changing after he receives advice from a mall Santa, who tells him to live each day like it's Christmas. This is Christmas 365, number 1. Hello there, Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest YouTubers you've never heard of. And welcome back to our next Crossmas special review. I, of course, am your host for today, Cross, and we are so excited that you are back here with us. Today we are checking out Christmas 365, number 1 from Dark Horse Comics. Super excited to jump into this one. But before we get into that, if you have missed out on our previous video, I will stick a card up in the top corner there so you can see our first Crossmas review. I need to remember the title of my own thing. So make sure you go click on that and check out last week's review and get all caught up with it. Also as well, if you are enjoying the content here and don't want to miss out on our future Crossmas reviews for the rest of the month, as well as a very special Crossmas Indie Comic Book Club, make sure you head on down, click that subscribe button, and you will get caught up on everything as it releases. Alright, all the YouTubey stuff is out the road. I'm ready for this. Let's dive in to this week's review. Christmas 365 number 1 is written by Mikey and Jonathan Rivera. Artwork from Piotr Kowalski. Colours are by Brad Simpson and lettering from Joshua Reed. Our issue begins with a young Peter walking through the empty snow-covered streets of his hometown. There may be no one on the roads, but there is a snowman decoration nearby. As his father stands at the front door, asking where Peter is and yelling for him to come home, Peter finds that there are more Christmas decorations now appearing around him and beginning to follow him. As Peter runs, his father begins to disappear inside the building, and the door starts to close, all while the decorations continue to multiply and follow him. Till Peter wakes up in his own bed that morning, with everything from before merely being a dream. Peter comes downstairs to find the rest of his family in the kitchen. His 2 younger children are fighting with each other, while his wife and oldest daughter discuss her plans to go to a friend's house. Stephen tells Susan that Santa is going to miss their house this year and upsets her. Peter reassures her that this won't happen. He apologises that things have been crazy at work lately, but that's why they're going to the mall, just to remind Santa about them. He asks his oldest, Tina, if she's going to be joining them tonight, to which she parrots back his "things have been a little crazy with work" saying to him. Peter seems a little taken aback by this and genuinely hurt, even telling his wife that he believes that she hates him. However, we also see Tina's reaction when he turns away, and it is one of hurt and reflects that this is not the first time that her dad has apologised for working as much, and not the first time that he has sacrificed time with his kids for his unappreciative job. We find that Peter has missed Tina's play, and the family have been holding off decorating the tree so they can do it with him, and his wife reminds him that these moments with their children are a gift, even if they don't always feel like it, and we don't get many of them. We then follow Peter to his office, and in the parking lot we meet his manager, Victor. We find out pretty quickly that Victor is the sort of colleague at work that most people can't stand, and is assumed to get promotions due to sucking up and brown-nosing, because there is no way to believe that he got there through regular means. Victor also seems to feed Peter wrong information in order to make himself look better by sheer comparison, such as telling Peter the type of whiskey their boss likes, and a $20 gift-giving limit when Victor then goes ahead and buys their boss a new set of golf clubs. In their meeting, Peter is essentially ignored, only for the boss to ask Victor to lunch, and only ask Peter if they can bring him back a coffee. As Peter is left out and the other two stay out later than expected, only then for Victor to come back and also say that he's had some bad brisket and has to leave early, which leaves Peter to make revisions on the project and get them on the boss's desk before he leaves at the end of the day. This causes Peter to be late for meeting his family at the mall for Christmas shopping. So Peter and his wife Alice split up and cover more ground, with Peter taking Stephen and Susan to see Santa, and Alice taking Tina to finish buying the things that they need to get. As Peter pushes through the crowds to get Stephen and Susan to Santa, it ends up being him who takes a seat on Santa's knee in the mall and asking Santa for advice. Santa humours him and asks why he wanted to sit, and Peter says that he needs advice. He's been distant and unreliable and feels like he's sliding away from everyone and everything that he loves. That isn't what he wants though. He feels that if he can just get Christmas right, then it'll all be good. Santa tells him that one day isn't going to change everything just like that. But that doesn't mean you don't try. He guarantees that his family just wants him for Christmas. Take that feeling to make Christmas special and live each day like it's Christmas. From here, Peter gets into an altercation as a displeased parent is angry with him, a grown adult taking the time away from the kids getting to see Santa. Peter has the amazingly mature response in this moment of sticking his finger in the man's gingerbread coffee, and then the punches begin to get thrown. As this is happening, Tina is recording the whole thing and tells her mom that she can try and get ahead of this and make it seem like it was a prank. Her mother seems uncertain but allows it to go forwards just in case it's needed. Alice is then spotted by Victor's wife as Victor and his family are out at the mall shopping too. Victor's wife asks Alice how she's doing and is told about the co-worker that faked an illness and then dumped a whole bunch of work on Peter so that he could leave early. To which it is a little bit satisfying to hear Victor's wife call his behaviour trash without realising he was the one that did it. Tina then starts to chat with Danny, Victor's son, and the two connect over them going to see an upcoming show for the band Gorgon. And just as they are about to get coffee, Tina is dragged away by her mom. Alice takes the time to go and talk to Peter, and we find out that one of the reasons this Christmas may be getting to him, besides from all of the stuff at work and with Victor screwing him over, is that this time of year was special for Peter and his father. It was a way for them to connect with each other, and it has been a year since he passed away and has left Peter feeling a little adrift. Alice tells him that no one expects him to take up the mantle from his dad, but she does need his help. She needs his help with the kids and doesn't want him missing out on them. He tells her that he understands and that he has a plan to make this the most memorable Christmas ever. Tina wakes her mom up early the next morning to come downstairs, where she finds the house completely decorated for Christmas. And Peter tells her, "Merry Christmas 365. He has Susan set off a package where a Santa pops out with glitter and calendar pages, while sparklers light, and he tells the family that every month on the 25th they're going to celebrate Christmas with music, decorations, food, gifts, go the whole 9 yards every month. He says they can change the decorations and change things up to keep it fresh, but do this all year long. Unfortunately, his sparklers are a little strong for inside of the house, and this sets fire to the presents. And the issue comes to a close with Peter attempting to put out the raging fire while Tina films it and says these are going to be the best Christmases ever. And there we have it for issue 1 of Christmas 365. First of all, before I jump into my wrap up of today, I hope you enjoyed the new format. I'm trying something a little different with the storytelling and to kind of show off some of the panels in a different way and make it a bit more engaging during the comic segment and not just scrolling down a page and jumping between me and it. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. Did you like it? Do you prefer the old method? I'm testing some stuff out, so please let me know. Your feedback would be greatly appreciated. As for the comic itself, I desperately needed this week. Reviewing stuff for Christmas. We had an amazing comic, don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved Dread the Halls, but next week we also have Through the Bows coming, which I'm going to be reviewing here on the channel from Distillery, and both of them are horror anthology Christmas comics, and I felt like that was going to be the only Christmas comics that I would have to cover. I had others that were winter themed and had snow and different things, but none were really like holiday centric. And then I found out about Christmas 365 from Dark Horse and went and purchased it myself. Wanted to make sure this was something that we covered, make sure it was something that we added on, take advantage of the Christmas theme, and I'm so glad that I did. Because it was just a beautiful little slice of life story in the midst of the Christmas horror comics. You know, I feel like we've went so far with like telling the happy Christmas story that you all kind of know. If you're watching a Christmas movie or a Christmas special of a show, you know where it's going. And we've almost went to the other end of that, where we have horror and we have all these different things now because we have to subvert it in some massive way to try and do something different. To the fact of that has almost become a trope unto itself. But I loved Christmas 365 because it wasn't your typical Christmas affair. It wasn't your typical everything's going to work out in the end sort of feeling story. But at the same time, it didn't subvert it in a completely out there yet kind of predictable way. It was just a story of this guy. The story of Peter, an average everyday guy, dealing with the loss of his father, who he used to celebrate this time of year with. And in the midst of all of that, he's trying to do well at work, trying to get further along in work, feels like he's getting screwed over by co-workers, is getting stuff left in his lap which he can't say no to, which I feel like is so many people, having lived in America now for about 10 years, it's such a common thing for people to feel like they have to just give to their jobs and just give constantly and can't speak up and go, wait, no, I'm like, it's the holidays, I need to spend time with my family. They're just expected to do it while other people take advantage. And again, I know that's a trope onto Christmas itself, but it also feels so real at the same time. And on top of that, he's trying to be a good husband and trying to be a good father. He has a teenage daughter who's rebelling against him, who he's missed the stuff and like her drama and her play where she did the backgrounds for it, and he feels awful and he wants to try and make it up to them and take his kids to go see Santa at the mall, and he is trying to the point of he sits on a mall Santa's lap and asks for advice. And I love that even at the end of the story he takes it too far. Like Santa even tells him, like, I live each day like it's Christmas, obviously we can't do that. And he goes, no, we're going to celebrate Christmas every day, and runs with that, even though it's like that the Santa literally told you not to do it. And then even then he sets it up, and on Christmas Day he sets up this big surprise and sets the living room on fire. All because he's trying to do this and trying to go above and beyond. And don't get me wrong, it's definitely got elements of being over the top Christmas tropey. It's definitely got those. I'm not saying it doesn't. And even saying some of the stuff out loud, I'm like, yeah, I've seen that in so many Christmas movies. But I've got to give compliments to Mikey and Jonathan Rivera. I don't know who wrote what and how it was handed out for the writing of this, but it felt personable and real. It felt, I honestly felt, and maybe it's because I'm looking at this brand new Christmas story as a father and as a husband, a father of 3, who wants to do good at his job, who wants to do better at his job, and who also wants to be there for his family but feels drained and worn. And like, I could relate so much to Peter. It felt real to me. And I think that's the thing, is like I felt like I connected, and maybe that's just the place I am in life now. Maybe like if I was in a different place in life or doing something different or a little bit younger, I wouldn't have been able to connect as much. But for some reason, this just hit home a little bit with me. And I thought it was a phenomenal story. I'm intrigued to see how it goes, because I love that it's not going to plan right from the get-go. And as much as these might be certain tropes, it felt like it was a real family, because it felt like, you know, the wife is just trying to support her husband. The husband's trying to hold it together and be a good dad, but also do well at his job. The kids are just being kids. The teenagers wanting, you know, attention from their parents and wanting to connect with them and trying to also strike out. It felt like a real family. I absolutely adored this. I thought it was so good. Compliments to Piotr and Brad for their amazing artwork in this, and Joshua for the lettering. The book was just phenomenally done. Is it my top of the best comics of the year? Maybe not, but it was definitely one I'm going to go back to. This wasn't like mind-blowing stuff, but I don't think it was meant to. It takes a lot for slice of life stuff to be that mind-blowing, whoa sort of reaction. And I feel like this was literally just like life, but that's what I needed. And again, maybe that's me being in where I am in life. Maybe it's because I've been between reading like horror anthologies for Christmas reviews, and just getting this was such a palate cleanser. But I absolutely adored this. Highly recommend going and checking it out. Go pick up Christmas 365 for yourself. The art is stunning, the story is great, the writing is on point, and I think it's one that will be worthwhile getting. I don't know how long this is running for. Excuse me. Obviously it's kicking off right before Christmas, so I don't know how many issues we're going to get, if this is going to be a few issues just to kind of tell the story, or are we going to get like one of the Christmases every month leading up to next Christmas, which would be really cool with 12 issues. But definitely worthwhile checking out. But that is all for me from today. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you enjoyed it, checking us out with us. Make sure as well, like I said, go and hit that subscribe button. If you want early access to our videos and access to exclusive content, you can go and check that out over on our Patreon and support us there for as little as $2 a month. Also as well, check out BCW right below me here. We've got the link down below that you can click on and use code ComicsCross to save 10% on purchases, and using our link to buy anything from the store will also kick back some money and help support us at Comics in the Cross as well. So helping support us out will also feeding into that comic addiction for you. You are welcome, and I am absolutely an enabler when it comes to this addiction. But I hope you all have an absolutely amazing day. I hope you have an amazing week, and we will see you all next week for our final comic review for Crossmas before Christmas Day. It's a good week to be a geek. Take care. I'll see you all soon. Peace.